The latest. Thank you for your love and support. Another failed coup attempt in Africa, and this time round it is coming from Benin Republic. The president of Benin, Patrice Talon, people want him out. Some are saying that his governance is something else. We really don't know the reason to which there's this coup on him, but there are people that want him out. Some are saying there are foreign powers who are backing this coup, and people still do not know the exact reason to which they want this man out, because some are of the view that he has a lot of enemies, and when Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso took their freedom, he was also the one among the people who were asking for the return of the democratic leaders. And he also have a beef with Niger concerning the pipeline that was going to send oil. We are also aware that he is the one that is keeping the military bases of France in Benin, and they will be transported through Ivory Coast to Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, to cause instability in the country. This could also be a plan-up game that will also turn people's attention and focus blame on Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, trying to say that because they have voiced out that Benin has a hand in causing the chaos in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, so they might be the people that are behind this. Or maybe because China is trying to transport oil through the pipeline or the port of Benin to Niger, and this thing is not happening. It could be China. This is a very well planned game, even though we really don't know the cause. According to reports, this man is also oppressing his people during the 2021 election. He did not allow anybody to contest him. The opposition leaders that were ready to contest him, he has to find a way of taking them out. And he doesn't also allow press freedom. The promises he made to the people of Benin when he came, according to source, he has been able to do some with some little infrastructure, but the people are not satisfied with his governance. So it could be that the people want him out. This is a very crucial moment in this coup attempt that took place in Benin. This coup came at a point that Burkina Faso released names of people and countries that are supporting plotters against the peace and stability of Burkina Faso. And boom, we have a coup in Benin. So there are a lot of things. This time, these people are trying to do something that people will now point fingers at Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And we know our all in alls, our saviors, our protectors, our messiahs, our unifiers, our comforters will never do something of that sort. They are for the interest of Africa. They are looking for the progress of Africa. That is why they are doing everything possible with their lives to see that we see a change in Africa. They are not only thinking about Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. They are looking at a collective thing, and they expect that by now, other African leaders will team up with them to safeguard Africa. So, there are a lot of misreaction, but all we know is this is a plan-up game to turn tables around, so that the fingers that are pointing out there and the evidence that are showing that they have something to do with. So this coup is something else. It could also mean that the people in Benin are not happy with his governance and the way he's doing things, and they also want to see the country like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So they have decided to free themselves, because if we are living in a democratic rule and you don't expect anybody to contest you, then this is not a democratic rule or democratic governance. The AU, EU, and the UN, everybody is silent about people who are not allowing their other contestants to contest them. All they see is the people who rose up to give us independence, to fight oppression. Then they come to tell us that we don't obey democratic rule. That is the white man ways of governing his people. But we are Africans. Africans, we have our own way of leadership. And it's high time that people understand that we have our own way of leadership, and people should not be imposing democracy on us. It's not a must that we should all rule ourselves by what you say. We are different people. Our color is brown, yours is pink. So why should you keep imposing your way of life just because you want to keep exploiting Africa, the natural resources? Because you know under the guise of democracy, you have the liberty to do everything. But with the military regime, you wouldn't get that, except those that you plan and kept them there because we have seen that Africans, we are now looking for democratic leaders to leave, and we are looking for the military to take over, but not all of them, because Chad, Guinea, and Gabon are also military countries. They are ruled by the military, yet we are not seeing anything positive in these three countries except Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. So we have different types of what? Military rule in Africa. So that's the latest around the world. In Africa, West Africa, and in Benin.
First, let's set the stage. Benin, a small country on the west coast of Africa, has a long and complex history when it comes to coups. Since gaining independence from France in 1960, Benin has experienced no fewer than 7 successful coups. That's right, 7. Can you imagine living in a country where the government could change overnight so frequently? But here's where it gets interesting. Benin has actually been relatively stable since 1991, with regular elections and peaceful transfers of power. That is until this recent coup attempt against President Patrice Talon. So, what's changed? And why now? To understand this, we need to look at the bigger picture. The Sahel region of Africa has been experiencing a wave of coups in recent years. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, all have seen their governments overthrown by military juntas. But why is this happening? Some point to frustration with corruption, others to the ongoing fight against jihadist insurgencies. What do you think is driving this trend of coups in the Sahel? Before we continue, just a gentle reminder to like and share our videos. Talk about President Patrice Talon. He came to power in 2016 and is currently serving his second term, which is set to end in 2026. Talon has been a vocal opponent of the recent coups in the Sahel region and has supported ECOWAS-imposed sanctions against the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. But has this stance made him enemies? And could it have contributed to this coup attempt? Here's where things get really intriguing. There are whispers of foreign involvement in this failed coup. Now, we don't have concrete evidence yet, but some are pointing fingers at certain countries that might have an interest in destabilizing Benin. Who do you think might benefit from chaos in Benin? There's more. We can't talk about Benin without mentioning the ongoing dispute with neighboring Niger over a crucial oil pipeline. Benin has been blocking Niger's access to this pipeline, which runs through Benin to the coast. Could this economic tension have played a role in the coup attempt? Now, let's talk about public opinion. President Talon's regime has been controversial, to say the least. Some praise him for his economic reforms and infrastructure projects. Others criticize him for cracking down on opposition and limiting press freedom.
Ladies and gentlemen, during the night of 23 to 24/09 2024, one shortly after 1 a.m., the former Minister of Sports, Mr. Osol Thromaki, was arrested. At the time, he was transmitting 6 bags filled with banknotes to the commander of the Republican Guard. Initial investigations. It appears that the commander of the Republican Guard, in charge of the security of the head of state, was undertaken by the Minister Hazard Kamaki for his own account and on behalf of Buchan to operate by force. One coup during the day of 27/09 2024. It is in the seas in this framework that from the 6th/08, interested parties have opened a bank account in the books of the Naya Ivory Coast for the benefit of the commander of the Republican Guard. And the proof the opening of the account has been transmitted to beneficiaries with one initial sound of CFA franc 105.000.000 or completed to overcome the resistance of the commander of the Republican Guard. They promised him and submitted on 24/09 2024 in cash one sum of CFA francs
1,500,000,000.
And this amount is discounted in 129 lots of 10 consisting of 10,000 franc bills,
Et 42 lots de 5 millions.
consisting of 5,000 franc bills.
Cette
This woman who would have been mobilized
Monsieur Olivier Bocor
was loaded in one vehicle, the Type 4x4, the morning Toyota Prado, owned by Oswaldro Mickey, has a false registration.